Hi, welcome to Centerville Reports Today. I'm Maureen Russell Hodson. He's the biggest name on Broadway, and the Centerville Library has him. We're talking about Alexander Hamilton. We're also going to tell you about a new move for the library. Woodbourne Library is moving to Cross Pointe Center, so lots of things to talk about. Here with our guests, we have Liz Fultz and Georgia Mergler, both with the Centerville Library. And thanks for being here, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
So when we talk about Hamilton, he is the biggest thing on Broadway. How did this whole idea come about to have this upcoming exhibit and program?
Right. Well, a lot of times we will stumble across things and then it becomes a little serendipitous and it looks like we planned it this way.
But I know you did.
Right. I'd like to say that we necessarily planned it this way, but we started talking, we're always on the lookout for new exhibits and things that we can offer as opportunities when people drop into the library to encounter something unexpected and educational. So, we did Lincoln before and we had the Peanuts exhibit. So this has kind of become a part of our culture to bring in these experiences, if you will. So Alexander Hamilton, we were kind of canvassing for opportunities and we ran across him in the spring of this year. It's an exhibit from the Gilder Lehrman Institute of New York, and it was actually developed back in 2005 and really didn't get much use.
Wow,
Sat around, a little dusty, people weren't that interested, and then the Broadway show hit.
And now everybody wants to know about Hamilton.
Now everybody knows about Alexander Hamilton. The exhibit itself is not about the musical, it's about the man and his involvement in the founding of our country. He was the author of the Federalist Papers. He was a lawyer. He was in the military serving with George Washington. He was the first Secretary of the Treasury under George Washington. And then most people know that he died in the duel. The famous duel. So the exhibit kind of explores his life and career because he does really have an interesting beginnings that a lot of people may not know about. And that was a bit of the precept for the musical. Alexander Hamilton was an immigrant. He was born in the West Indies, and through his own kind of entrepreneurship, he found his way to New York City using accounting skills, nonetheless.
Wow.
And from there, it's kind of an immigrant life in the United States as a newly formed country. So I think the musical takes more of a look at, a diversity kind of take on Alexander Hamilton's life. He is an immigrant, but the exhibit itself really focuses more a biographical sketch of him.
And it will open when?
It opens November 29th,
Okay.
So that's going to be the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. It will be open during library operating hours at Centerville Library through the end of the year.
Okay, and Georgia, will that be in the program room or will it be actually in the aisles of the library?
We are going to have it out in the library
Okay,
proper,
okay,
but we will have a couple of complimentary programs to go along with it. So on November 29th and 30th, both at 7 p.m., we're going to have a professor of history from Wright State University come in and talk about Alexander Hamilton, the man. And then the following week on December 6th and 7th, also at 7 p.m., we're going to have the engagement and education coordinator from the Victoria Theater come in and talk about Hamilton, the Broadway show.
Oh, great.
So no registration or reservations are required for those events. However, we do expect that it's going to be popular, those programs.
Right.
So we encourage people to show up early if they want to come. We do have limited seating in the library. 6:15, we're going to open the doors all of those nights. So.
And you're not kidding when you say that. I mean, your programs are very popular, so if you want to see them, make sure that you get there early so you can get a seat.
Exactly. And for those who can't make the events, but they want to learn more about Hamilton, in addition to the exhibit, we have some resources on our website so that you can learn a little bit more about the man and the Broadway musical. So you can go out there and kind of do a little self-study.
Yeah, well, that's very exciting. Again, it all takes place at the Centerville Library, kicks off November 29th.
Yes,
said, right? Okay.
Correct.
And a good place to always go for more information would be your website.
That is correct.
Okay. And then I guess the big news is we've been talking about it seems like for months, but now the Woodbourne Library will be closing here at the end of the year, right,
Yeah,
Liz?
December 31st is going to be the last day that Woodbourne's open prior to the renovation and expansion project. January 3rd, our temporary location will be opening in Cross Pointe Center. We plan to have hold pickups, things that people request. They'll be able to pick them up there. We'll have express items, express movies, express books, a few TV series, some magazines, a few children's materials. We're also planning to do our story times. So the story times that are that currently occur at Woodbourne, those will take place in the Cross Pointe Center.
So it's not as if you can pick up everything that goes on at Woodbourne and take it over to Cross Pointe, but a lot of the essentials will be there.
Right. We plan to have just a little, little sampling of everything. So if people are coming in and they're picking up a book they have on hold, maybe they want to grab a quick movie while they're there. But yeah, it's a much smaller space, so we can't do everything. But we're trying to have as much service as possible on the north side of town.
Okay, so it's going to be at Cross Pointe Center. We have a photo there. So a good locating would be somewhere near Pearl
Vision, 2 doors down from Outback Steakhouse.
So you can kind of get an idea of where you want to go, and it's not open yet. I know everybody wants to go over there.
Right. The signs are in the window now, but it won't open until January 3rd.
January 3rd, and then operate same hours?
Actually, the hours are going to be a little bit different than Woodbourne. It'll be open Monday through Thursday, 10 to 9. Fridays, it'll be open 10 to 6. And Centerville Library will be open to 9. So those two locations,
on Fridays.
Yeah, those two locations.
People will love that.
We're switching the hours for Fridays.
Okay.
Then it'll be open for Saturday, 10 to 5. Closed on Sundays.
And closed Sunday. But you can also go, as you said, pick up the on-hold items. You're going to have story times in the same times that they were held at Woodbourne. Will be there as well.
Yeah.
Are you calling this your what kind of location do you?
I think we've used the word storefront library.
Okay.
For those who are up on their library history, there used to be a storefront library behind the Dorothy Lane Market. Well, the Dorothy Lane Market wasn't even there but in that Washington Township Square.
So where the theater was.
No.
Oh.
Where so across the street from Woodbourne.
Okay.
The Dorothy Lane Market
Yes,
there.
right.
So there's a little shopping plaza behind that where like Planet Smoothie and those places are at.
Moto Photo.
So, yeah. There used to be
on that side. Okay.
There used to be a library in that strip mall called the North Branch that preceded Woodbourne Library. So it's kind of like full circle. So it's a little retro throwback storefront library.
Okay, and obviously Woodbourne needed to grow, and can you tell us a little bit about the plans? And we've seen the sign out there that it's going to be closing and new expansion is going to open in 2018.
2018,
right?
Summer of 2018, the project should be done. We're really excited about it. We're adding nearly 10,000 square feet. There'll be a large room there for programs, which is something that we don't currently have in Woodbourne. There's going to be a separate room in the children's area for story times and the kids programs. There's going to be individual study rooms. There'll be 4 rooms that can hold 4 people and a room that will hold 6. So nice place for people, tutors or, groups that are studying together that the kids can go in and work on their project and not be disturbed by the other people that are in the library.
I think one of the great things about our library is that you always seem to be a step ahead or a couple steps ahead of what people are looking for. So you're planning for this, and people might say, why do I need to have a private room? Well, you probably, if you work with a tutor, which I know a lot of people meet at the library for that, but you're always a step ahead in terms of technology and in terms of what people want. So
I would kind of give the public credit for that, though. I think that we had a guttural thought about what we needed. Like, for example, the Woodbourne Library restrooms. Those, hands down, universally, were the one thing people said, you have to do something about the restrooms there. They're very outdated. So we're going to bring those way up in quality.
And more of them.
And more.
High quality restrooms, number one. Well, that's a basic need that people want to have, right?
And more parking.
Yeah.
But the other things, we had a community survey, we had a series of kind of focus group forums, if you will, to really find out what the public wanted. I mean, it's their library, it's funded by their local and state tax dollars, so we really wanted it to be what they wanted and needed it to be. So, there's a large demand for meeting space in this community that is unmet. And so, I appreciate the compliment about us being ahead of the curve, but, I think that the community really helped to validate.
Our community is ahead, yes.
Yeah,
Our community
the whole community is ahead.
Yes. Well, it's very exciting. And again, this takes place January 3rd, but people will see maybe some activity happening with the big move because this is a massive move.
Right. We're starting next week. We're going to start pulling out some furniture, some things, people might notice some things that are starting to disappear. We're trying to keep the services, impacted as minimally as possible, but it's not, there isn't any way that we can close one location and essentially the next day open another one without people seeing some of it. So
if I'm looking for the reference desk, will I find that still at Cross Pointe, or will I need to go to the Centerville Library?
no, there'll be a reference librarian there. There'll be a reference librarian, there'll be a children's librarian, and then there'll be a circulation person there each of the hours that they're open.
And then all of your staff, for the most part, is going to move into Centerville Library, so it's going to be really cozy there for about a year and a half, isn't it?
But that's nice for the our regular Woodbourne patrons, because when they come into Centerville, chances are they'll see a familiar face, and they can have somebody that they know show them around if they're not familiar with that building.
And so in addition to extended hours for the Centerville Library, what other changes would you see if you went into the Centerville Library with this change?
I think just with the hours and
staffing, you'll
new
see some
staff,
new-
yeah.
But other than that, there's
Everything that you need, everything will still be available either at I guess Cross Pointe Center or for the most part Centerville Library.
Right.
Okay. And again, it's closing December 31st.
December 31st will be our last day that Woodbourne's open.
Okay, and then you can take a little bit of a break, and then on January 3rd, you're open for business.
Right, closed for the holidays, and when we reopen, we'll reopen at Cross Pointe Center.
But the Centerville Library will be open during the holidays, right? During that time.
Right. If you're curious about when the closures are, because the holidays fall on a weekend this year, so like many other businesses, we're kind of acknowledging the holiday on Monday following the Sunday holiday. So if you're ever curious about any of that, you can just visit, again, the website for the holiday hours. And we try to put that on our on-hold message, too, so if people call in, they can hear what the holiday hours are. Usually a week or so ahead of time we'll add that message, but I want to add that the grand opening for Woodbourne at Cross Pointe is also January 3rd.
Oh, there's going to be a grand
at
opening?
10 a.m.
Oh,
10
great.
a.m. Yeah.
What's going to happen then?
Just some, refreshments. We'll give you the penny tour because, like Liz said, it's not a giant space, so it'll be a quick tour.
But what I find interesting is every morning, because the Centerville Library is right across the street from our building, before 10 o'clock, there's a line. People cannot wait to get into the library. So I'm sure people will be over at Cross Pointe ready for the grand opening for refreshments as well.
Exactly.
At
We
10
hope
o'clock.
so.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so again, January 3rd, you're going to get your library services. If you use Woodbourne Library, you can go to Cross Pointe Center, but you're also, of course, able to use the Centerville Library, which is located on West Spring Valley Road. However, if you want to see Hamilton, that still happens yet this year.
Hamilton is still happening this year, so something to look forward to. A fun diversion during the holiday season when you need a break from the retail establishments. If you need something that's budget friendly because your credit card is smoking from holiday shopping, come over and see Hamilton. It's an educational diversion too. So.
And then the two programs, the first program is on the
29th and the 30th of November will be the Who is Hamilton
and
program.
that's the same program. It's offered either day,
yep,
right?
Same program, just offered twice. And then the following week, again, Hamilton on Broadway, the same program offered twice. We're doing that because we do anticipate a large crowd, and we really try to meet the demand, but also make the fire marshal happy.
Yeah, right. And if you wanted more information, website is a good place to go.
The website, wclibrary.info.
Okay,
is the best bet.
Yeah, that's a really good place to go.
Yes.
Because that's a whole other show about how great your website is. But you can get a lot of, if you can't get out to say goodbye to the Woodbourne Library, then you definitely want to check out the website, which is wclibrary.info.
That is
all right.
correct.
Well, ladies, thanks so much for all the exciting information. We're looking forward to seeing the Cross Pointe Center Library as well as Hamilton. Again, it's November 29th and 30th and December
6th and 7th.
6th and 7th for the Broadway show. For more information about the City of Centerville, you can visit us at centervilleohio.gov or give us a call at 433-7151. That's going to do it for this show. We'll see you next time.